Today we discuss two types of reproduction and different types of asexual reproduction and vegetative reproduction. So there are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. Then what is asexual reproduction? You see here one amoeba. See, this amoeba is going to divide, that single celled organs amoeba divides and form two amoeba. Okay, so there are two amoebas are formed from a single amoeba. So here how many parents are involved? Only one parent, single parent is involved in this reproduction. There is only a division of cell. Okay, such a reproduction is called asexual reproduction. Only a single parent is involved. There is no formation of gametes, no fusion of gametes. So in asexual reproduction, there is no formation of gametes, no fusion of gametes, only a single parent is involved. Now you see, in sexual reproduction, see, two parents are participated. One is called female, another is male. Both are producing gametes, male gamete and female gametes. These two fuses. So there is formation of gametes and fusion of gametes. They fuse to form zygote. And zygote develop into embryo. Embryo develop into a new individual. So here two parents are involved. One is male, another one female. Okay. And both are producing gametes. And gametes are fused to form zygote. And zygote develop into embryo. So here is the formation of gametes, fusion of gametes. And also two parents are involved. Okay. So such a reproduction is called a sexual reproduction. So you got the difference between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Now we can list difference between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. First, in asexual reproduction, a single parent is participated. Okay. In sexual reproduction, two parents are participated, male and female. In asexual reproduction, I told you there is no gametes, but in some case there will be gametes, but no fusion. So with or without gamete formation. And in sexual reproduction, it involves gametes formation. But in asexual, there may be with or without gamete formation. But in asexual reproduction, never gamete fusion. But in sexual reproduction, it involves the fusion of gamete. Then, offsprings produced in asexual reproduction are called clones. Why? Because they are identical to one another and exact copy of their parents. So, students, what are clones or what are the offsprings produced in asexual reproduction? They are identical to one another and they are exact copies of their parents. So, remember, offsprings produced through asexual reproduction are identical to one another and they are exact copies of their parents. So they are clones. What about in sexual reproduction? Offspring shows variation because there is the fusion of two gametes and result in the mixing of genetic material. Genes will be there in male gamete and female gamete. That will be mixed. So in asexual reproduction, chance of variation is less. Maybe due to some random mutation. But in sexual reproduction, there is a more chance for genetic variation. Because in sexual reproduction, there is the fusion of two gametes. Okay. So that's why sexual reproduction, there are variation. So once again, asexual reproduction, single parent, sexual reproduction, two parents. Asexual reproduction with or without gamete formation, sexual reproduction, gamete formation. In asexual reproduction, fusion of gamete. Sexual, it involves gamete fusion. Asexual reproduction, offsprings are identical. But in sexual reproduction, offspring shows variation. And sexual reproduction shows variation because of fusion of gametes, which result in mixing of genetic material. Okay, students? So you can copy these notes. You can take screenshot and copy this note. This is enough for your NEET exam and all type of board exam, including CBSE. Okay. From this picture also, you can easily study the difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, right? In asexual reproduction, see that picture? No fusion of gamete. Only single parent is involved. In sexual reproduction, two parents are involved, but there is Gamete formation plus their fusion. Gamete formation plus their fusion. And there is fusion result in the formation of zygote, and that result in the mixing of genetic material. That results in mixing of genetic material. Okay, students? So that's all asexual and sexual reproduction. The difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. This is enough for your CBSE and NEET. Now we will discuss different types of asexual reproduction. First is fission. Two types of fission, binary fission and multiple fission. Details about this difference that we will discuss in next slide. Second one, budding. Example, yeast, hydra and sponges. Third type, sporulation or encystation. Next, spore formation. Different types are zoospores, chlamydospores, aplanospores and conidia. And next is fragmentation. And another type, vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. These are seen in higher plants. Example, natural and artificial. Two types of vegetative reproduction are there, natural and artificial. Natural vegetative reproduction, different types. They are with the help of different vegetative parts of plants, vegetative propagation. Example, rhizome. Example, ginger, turmeric, banana. Then tubers, potato. Then bulb, onion, bulbils, agave. All this in detail we are going to explain. Then a runner, okay, offset, and suckers, then stolon and leaf buds. Students, next we are going to discuss in more detail about all these type of sexual reproduction. Next, artificial vegetative propagation, two different types, grafting, cutting, layering. Okay, but it is not in your syllabus. Just you can study some example for artificial vegetative reproduction, grafting and cutting. Cutting means stem cutting. Through stem cutting we can do the propagation of plants. First we can discuss fission. Okay, I already said there are two types of fission. What are the two types of fission? Binary fission and multiple fission. You see these two diagrams and see the difference. In first diagram you see there is only two amoeba is formed. By this fission, two cells are formed or two individuals are formed. In the second diagram, you see one cell divide and forms many individuals. So that is the difference between binary fission and multiple fission. So binary fission, individual divides into two. Multiple fission, individual divide into many individual. Okay. So one cell divide into many cells or individuals. That is binary multiple fission. Now see, binary fission. Based on how they divide, there are different types. First one, longitudinal binary fission, then transverse, then irregular. You see, longitudinal binary fission, example, Euglena. Transverse fission, Paramecium. Irregular, amoeba. Next, budding. You see, in the first all type of fission, cells formed are almost equal in size. But here you see in budding, after cell division, they form a small cell. That is called a bud. For example, yeast. Okay. So in budding, division is unequal and form a small cell that is called a bud. And this bud remains attached on parent body. Then it will separate and develop into new individual. Okay, that is budding. So in budding, cell division is not equal. They form a small bud that attached on the parent body. When it is detached, it develop into new organism. Next, we can see how is the budding in hydra. See, in hydra, due to repeated division, there you can see some external buds are developing. Okay. Now this bud will grow, and here you can see, bud is growing. Next, there form a cleavage. Bud is going to separate. So here bud is separated and they form two individual. Okay. So this is budding in hydra. Then have you heard about gemmules? Gemmules are seen in sponges. Here is the sponges. From the body of the sponges, you can see which is releasing small buds are releasing. They are gemmules. But these are produced internally. Here you can see gemmules. So gemmules are internal buds of sponges. So remember that point. Gemmules are internal asexual buds in sponges. Okay, when they separate from the parent, that develop into new individual. Next one is seen in amoeba. See, in unfavorable condition, this amoeba loses its it withdraw its pseudopodia. It withdraw its pseudopodia and form a three-layered wall around it. That is called a cyst wall. Three-layered wall called a cyst wall, and the entire structure is called a cyst. So amoeba withdraw its pseudopodia and form the cyst. Okay, so it tide over unfavorable condition. During favorable condition, this amoeba undergoes multiple fission. So produce many small amoeba-like structures called pseudopodiospores. Now the cyst wall will break and releases young amoeba. Okay, so during unfavorable condition, it form a wall around it, three-layered wall called cyst. During favorable condition, when it goes to the favorable condition, it undergoes multiple fission. Okay, so under unfavorable condition, they form a three-layered wall around the amoeba, that is called encystation. And in favorable condition, amoeba undergoes multiple fission and produce many minute amoeba or pseudopodiospores. Then the cyst will burst and releases this pseudopodiospores that develop into many amoeba. This is called a sporulation. Very simple, sporulation. During unfavorable condition, amoeba converted to a cyst. During favorable condition, within the cyst, amoeba undergoes multiple fission. Then the cyst break and releases a pseudopodiospores or minute amoeba. Each one develops into amoeba. That is sporulation. Okay, these are seen sporulation seen in unfavorable condition and favorable condition. That's period. Okay, then another is a structure spores produced in both fungi and algae. Here these are flagellated spores which are produced in a bag-like structure called a zoosporangium. So these are asexual motile spores produced by certain algae and some fungi. And these are having flagella. So they are motile, they can move. And they are produced within zoosporangium. When they liberated from the parent body that loses flagella, then it forms cyst, then it germinates into new plant. So spores very simple. This is the motile asexual spores seen in some algae and fungi. So they are motile, they have flagella. Now conidia, this is an asexual spore seen in fungus, especially in ascomycetes like penicillium and aspergillus. You see small spores are there called conidia. They are produced exogenously, not inside any sporangium. They are produced on the tip of a hyphae called conidiophore. They are produced at the tip of a hyphae or the stalk called conidiophores. So this conidium or conidia is an asexual non-motile spores of fungus, and they are produced on special stalk or hyphae called conidiophores. And different terms are there for other parts of this conidiophores, sterigma, vesicles. Okay, so anyhow conidia is non-motile, but zoospores are motile. That is the main difference.
Next, and vegetative propagation. Two types, natural and artificial. Now we are going to discuss natural. Students, here which vegetable it is? Which plant it is? It is? Yes, ginger. And that part of the ginger, we can call it as rhizome. What is rhizome? This structure seen under the soil. So this is a stem seen under the soil. So it is called underground stem modification. Underground stem modification. So rhizome is an underground stem modification. It stores food and it can be used as a propagule, vegetative propagule. It can be used for cultivation of ginger. So rhizome is a fleshy underground stem grow horizontally in the soil. Example, ginger, turmeric and banana. Okay, these so ginger and turmeric are the best examples for rhizome. And this is underground stem. Why it is called stem? This is not a root modification. Why? Because it has nodes, internodes, buds, scale leaves, and adventitious root. These are the structures seen on a stem. You know? So, this ginger underground portion is rhizome, and rhizome is a stem because it has node, internodes, scale leaves, buds, and adventitious root. Yes, stems are having nodes, internodes, buds, and leaf. So this is not a root, this is a stem. So rhizome is a fleshy underground stem, grows horizontally below the in soil. An example, ginger, turmeric, banana, water lily, kanna. Here is another common vegetable. Can you identify? Yes, it is potato. So potato, this edible part, is it a root? Is it a root modification? No, this is also stem. This part of the potato which is used as vegetable, this also underground stem modification. This is not root. Okay. So potato is an example for underground stem modification. Another example. And this particular modification is called a tuber, stem tuber. Okay. Because that do not have any specific shape. That's why it's called a tuber. So tip of the branches become swollen in the soil and it covered by some scale leaves and form a structure called as tuber. So stem tuber example, potato. Okay, potato stores food and also it helps in vegetative propagation. And these potatoes have nodes, internodes and scale leaves, and you can see buds developing from nodes. So there is, you can see axillary bud developing from the node, that is called eye of potato. So eyes on potato, what are they? They are axillary buds on node. Now we are going to discuss about elephant yam, Amorphophallus or salmon canth. Other example, saffron, colchicum, gladiolus. These plants are propagated by a modified stem structure called comb. Okay, what are comb? Combs are condensed structure which grow vertically under the soil surface. So this is also an underground stem modification, comb. You know, elephant yam, Amorphophallus. Now, second one, bulb. Another modification which is used as a vegetative propagule is bulb. Example, onion and garlic. Onion and garlic are example for bulb, which is a stem and mainly leaf modification. Here stem is modified into reduced disc-like structure and leaves are modified into fleshy leaves which stores food. See, in this plant there is very long internode which grow horizontally in ground. Okay, so these have very long internodes and from the nodes you can see roots and leaves arise. So this long internodes which helps for very quick spreading of plant. So this long thin stem that grows horizontally along the ground, that is called a runner. This modification is called a runner. Example, Scandella and Oxalis. So runners are having long internode and which helps for very quick vegetative propagation. Example, Oxalis and Scandella. Now see, here is two aquatic plant. This is Pistia and another one Eichhornia. This plant is Eichhornia. Both these plants can spread very quickly in water. They can propagate, they can do the vegetative propagation very quickly, that is by using their internode. Another internode modification. That internode is very short and thick. But in runner you see thinner and longer. But it is and short. Okay, such a modification is called offset. So offset is a modification seen in aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia, which are having short, thick internode, which help to spread very quickly. That is offset. Example, Pistia and Eichhornia. And have you heard about this Eichhornia? See, this is Eichhornia, how fast it spread over water body, right? And this is called terror of Bengal. This Eichhornia crassipus, this is called a terror of Bengal. You see how beautiful flowers are there? Okay, still they are called a terror of Bengal or water hyacinth. Why? You know? Because this will spread very quickly in water and they become a weed. Okay, wherever there is standing water, it will grow there. It grows very fastly in standing water and drains oxygen from water, which lead to the death of fish. That's why it is called a terror of Bengal. And this brought to India because of its beautiful flowers and the shape of leaves. But what happens? This become weed and that start to grow very fastly in standing water and it drains the oxygen. It uses all the dissolved oxygen. Now, see here flower chrysanthemum. You know chrysanthemum flower, how it produces new plants through vegetative propagation. See, the lateral branches grow below the soil, then it comes out the soil and gives new leafy shoot. Once it separates from the plant, it will develop into new plant. These structures are called suckers. So in chrysanthemum, such lateral branches are called suckers. What are the suckers? Suckers are seen in chrysanthemum. These are lateral branches which grows horizontally beneath the soil. Then comes out obliquely upward, giving to leafy shoot. Once this lateral branches separate, that can develop into new plant. Suckers we can see in banana also. Okay, in banana, so both the suckers and rhizome you can see. See, here is our jasmine plant. See, the lateral branch in jasmine plant grows aerially, then bent and touch the ground. There it produces roots. Then it again gives a plant. Once it separates from the parent, it can develop into new plant. So this modification or this is called a stolon. What is stolon? A slender lateral branch arising from the base of the main axis after growing aerially for some time, arch downward and touch the ground. There it produces a root. So if it is separated from the parent plant, it will develop into new plant. Example, jasmine and mint. So in jasmine and mint, which is the way of propagation? By stolon. Okay. Next one, bulbil. In bulbil, can you identify this plant? This is agave. Next picture you see, that is the inflorescence of agave. But actually it is not inflorescence. Okay. Instead of flowers, on the axis of flower, in the stalk of flower, instead of flower, there you can see buds, fleshy buds. Okay. So in the floral axis, there is in peduncle, there you can see instead of flowers many bulb-like structures. These are called bulbils. Okay, these are produced in the leaf axils or on flower stalk. Okay, example agave, pineapple, Dioscorea, oxalis. Next, leaf buds. You can see leaf buds on the margins of leaf, also on damaged leaves. For example, in bryophyllum. In bryophyllum, you can see that leaf buds are there on the margins of leaf. Once the leaf falls, that each buds develop into new plant. And in begonia, when the leaf get damaged, it will produce new buds which develop into new plant. Now, students, you know which is this plant? Yes, dahlia. How the dahlia propagate? How is the vegetative propagation in dahlia? It is by adventitious root. Adventitious root tubers. Adventitious root tubers. There is a question in NCRT. Which is the way of propagation in dahlia? Now you got it is by adventitious root tubers. Here is the another plant. This is also propagate in the same way. which is it? Sweet potato. So sweet potato also propagate using adventitious root tubers. Now we can do some questions. Binary fission, which is the example for binary fission? Amoeba. Zoospores, you can see zoospores in fungi and algae. Conidia, you can see in Penicillium, Aspergillus, most of all Ascomycete member. Then gemmules, sponges. Now here some more examples and diagrams are here. Rhizome, runner, stem, tuber, offset, leaf buds, bulbils, sweet potato, sugarcane, dahlia, asparagus. Potato, eichhornia, ginger and banana. Agave, bryophyllum, oxalis, stem cutting, root tuber. Okay. First, rhizome. What are the examples for rhizome? Examples are ginger, banana, turmeric, water lily, kanna. Next, runner. Yes, oxalis. Stem tuber, potato. Offset. Which is offset? Eichhornia, you know, terror of Bengal, water hyacinth. Now, leaf buds, bryophyllum. Bulbils, agave. Bulbils, very important point in your NCRT. Sweet potato, root tubers. Sugarcane, stem cutting. Dahlia and asparagus, sweet potato, root tubers. Which type of root tubers? Adventitious root tubers. That is very important. Now we can do some question based on this diagram. These are the diagrams given in NCRT. Which is this first diagram? That is bulbil. These are bulb-like structure produced on the axils of leaf or floral stalk. Example, agave. Next one, yes, bryophyllum. And bryophyllum propagate by leaf buds. Okay, there you can see adventitious roots also. Which is the next plant? Yes, eichhornia. You see their characteristic leaves are there and it is offset thick and short internode. So second part is over.